Mexir, can I ask you a question?
The King of England.
Say Newcastle from someone from London, and say Newcastle as if someone from Newcastle is saying Newcastle.
Castle.
The
Castle.
best way to do a Newcastle accent is to imagine your face is made out of a breeze block.
Newcastle.
How would they say tights? Pantyhose. Put your pantyhose on.
I've stirred as far away from the topic at hand. I'm sorry.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tights Frame of Mind. I am your host, the Pantyhose King. We have a wonderful selection of very sensitive feeling pantyhose that were sent to me by a fan and a friend of mine. His name is Steven. We're going to be unboxing them and going through them. There's a lot of really rare discontinued pantyhose that are going to be shown off the packaging, and I will be modeling in them. And we even are going to be holding a contest where we have McShear modeling one of them, and the winner gets to get an exclusive photo shoot of McShear in them. So that's coming up as well.
Well, we're launching that contest. That's just to clarify. That's not happening.
No, it's not happening in this episode. I apologize for misspeaking. I've been drinking all day, and it's getting late. By the way, if you guys want to see the things that are in this episode, all the goodies, remember you can send it to our Patreon. There's a whole cavalcade of wearing, sharing, and posing that you can be part of. You can also sign up for the tier and become a guest. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, and it's patreon.com/tightsframeofmind, all one word. Last but not least, we actually have Hunter Loves Hose coming on for his second appearance. We'll be discussing sort of the masculine-feminine dynamic, I think, is what we really kind of delve into, which is interesting because right now in front of me, I have a very interesting dynamic of a very masculine pantyhose and a very feminine pair of pantyhose. I'd say this is almost like us as, like even just me all crumpled up with a waistband. You're just posing with your legs all in your high heels. If we were to like change into like Disney character pantyhoses, I'd be like, oh, I'm the pantyhose king, I'm fucking pissed. And then you'd be like, I want McShear a lot to wear thigh heels and look pretty and my packaging's all lovely. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree more. That is just a wonderful analogy. What have we got in front of us here? Let's give us some context as to what we're looking at.
Well, so we are looking at part of a pantyhose box that I received from a very, very special person. His name is Steven. Steven, I'm sure you're listening and or watching. Thank you for this. I was doing a little bit of let's say online modeling, and I had a fan who I've gotten to know, and as we've gotten closer, he insisted that he wanted to send me some stuff, and I said, "Oh wow, great!" I did not anticipate the 25 pounds that came.
Pounds as in
pounds
cost
as in weight. Weight.
Oh, of course, you dollars and cost.
Yes, dollars a lot, because a lot of this stuff is not even made anymore. So I figured it would be fun to kind of just go through. Oh
wow! Has anyone ever wondered what 25 pounds of tights looks like?
I can show you what this is 25 pounds of tights that I hope I didn't screw up my camera, but
this is a great shot that we have on the desk here. Those of you that are patrons will be able to see it as well. The beginning of what today's episode is going to be. But we heard in the last episode that Robert's advice was to use. Well, the gloves you have on look like they've come with the order, right?
Well, they didn't, but they very well could have, because there were things that came with the order that are not pantyhose related that are very silky and sheer and.
Oh, I see. So it was part of the box of surprises.
Yeah, there was some like lingerie in it and some panties and stuff. So it's a first time for me.
Because let's just to inform those people that may have or may not have heard the episode before this one with Robert, the CEO of Shapings.com. He talked about kitchen gloves, right?
Yes, which I do have. I did get them. But those are for putting on, not for just general handling. I mean, I figured aesthetically this would just be lovelier, but
I can't wait till we have our next sort of non-hosiery female guest, however or whenever that might be, because I cannot believe that women that buy and wear tights, pantyhose, whatever, every day of their lives, or nigh on every day of their lives, also have several pairs of gloves for either handling or putting on or adjusting.
I've never seen a woman putting them on like in a movie or in real life. I've never seen that. I've never seen it. Have you?
No, I've never even heard of it until I started ordering my own, and I started going, oh, hang on, they're sending a pair of gloves. Well, that must be because I always fucking rip them when I try putting them on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't understand how women don't rip them too. I mean, especially if you have, manicured, sharper nails or whatever. But women don't really. I mean, let's just face it. From what we learned last episode, at least from Shapings, that majority of the people purchasing pantyhose are either men or very large women. I think maybe it happens more to men because we tend to have more calluses on our hands.
Yeah, more calluses. If you're a cross-dresser, you're probably doing it more in a sweaty panic. You sort of, do you know what I mean? The excitement / the fear, and you're like,
I mean, the sweat's not going to cut through it, but I mean, maybe most guys don't tend to like. I mean, I didn't start filing my nails until like I realized that pantyhose need you have to file your nails.
It's 11.3 kilograms, and it's nearly 2 stone. Got nearly 2 stones worth of tights pantyhose. It's 11 kilograms and 25 pounds. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, is it ridiculous or is it generous? Because I would say
it's generous and it's amazing. I'm just saying that's so cool, and I'm just jealous, I guess.
Well, and if I would be jealous too, I would be jealous too. Not gonna lie, because it was really just incredibly generous. So, should we start going through it? Should we start?
That packaging on the Oroblu.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce that?
Well, I think it's Oroblu. Robert pronounced it correctly last time we spoke, and I forget, but I always pronounce it Oroblu.
I think that's what a load of us strive to look like in that picture, right?
Yeah, well, they are nice legs. I mean, I think objectively they're just nice legs.
Look at the way the knees are, where their foot's sort of lifted up, the black and white. There's so much going on that's really fucking lovely about that.
Now,
picture, right?
Yes, it is a lovely picture, but it is airbrushed to Venus and back.
So, Stephen, this is for you, I guess. This one's for Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen had these lying around. He's got a lot of them, and so these are the Orblue. These are the curvy sheer tights 20 denier. It's tailor made for a perfect fit. It's got big gusset, flat seams, and it is resistant toe. These things, I've actually worn them before. They're really nice. Like, they're proper. And by the way, I will be actually interspersing the video with me wearing the stuff as I'm going along. So get excited, people, because it's coming. So these are, I believe, not even made anymore. These Adrians are not made anymore. These are the 20 denier men's pantyhose. Like, these were the ones that didn't quite make it. They got the pouch and everything, and
when you say the pouch, do you mean for
they
the
got
cock?
Yes, for the cock, as it were. See, it's got
so they really are men's tights.
These are literally these are men's tights. They have a built-in penis area. This is the ad from it. This was like this one model. Like, I think that you can't really like see him that well, but he looks like Weird Al Yankovic's like sexy nephew. Like, it's kind of like I'll post a picture of him. I swear to God, I see him as that. But look at this Adrian logo. It's pretty cool, actually, with the high heels.
They're thigh highs, right?
They are. No gartering needed, stay-ups. But they look vintage. So, yeah, these got to be old. Marathon thigh highs.
God, I bet you don't even dare open those, right?
Well, eventually I will open them because I did agree for, to wear the stuff.
Oh, for modeling purposes.
For modeling purposes, yes. for his and our enjoyment. Now, this is, I believe, what I would call a questionable advertising, because believe it or not, these are men's pantyhose, right? This is the man's part, which is pretty suggestive. I mean, it was like, this is the one Levi, like, this is the one that apparently was very, very good. Like, it was a great German. It said, yeah, it looks like it's German here. Very like 8 to 10 millimeter HG. I don't know what that means. What does HG mean? Is that
high gusset?
High gusset. It's a weird way they decided to do this. Like, whoa man. Like, I if I was a male buyer, I would be like, it's sort of like, I don't know yet. It's like accusing the purchaser of it. It's like either you're going to be embarrassed because you're buying women's, or you're going to be embarrassed because you're buying a naked dude on the back. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like,
Yeah.
what
This
what
is
would they?
definitely one of those products that's likely to divide opinion. Because actually, I agree with
I
you.
don't think
But
it works
the
on
fun
either
side
end.
of me goes, oh, it's great for cross dressers because they're still calling us women. even
No,
though
no,
we're
but I
not
mean,
doing it.
but it's like here. It's the woe is so it's man, and then it's they change it. This is a woman still. Like this is a female. Like it's not a cross dresser. So it's like I guess it's supposed to be unisex, but to me, I'm like it. I don't know if I think it works for I could see people having a hard time buying this, being like embarrassed to buy it. Over here we have Meryl. Never heard of this before, but these are called a Vital Active Antibacterial Line 40. And not really showing a whole lot of pantyhose wear in there, are they?
That is really interesting packaging. For those that can't see the screen, it's a tight, clearly for men, because it's a male model. It's a pair of tights in the packet, 40 denier, but it's just a topless man.
Yeah, like
Looking
and maybe
like a next model, isn't he?
like a little bit of pantyhose visible. They're 40 denier. It looks like they come from. It looks like that language is maybe Dutch or Polish. I mean, it's the shame like factor of it. It's like, are you ashamed of the? But it's Meryl 40 denier, which means I'll be wearing them very briefly because I live in Florida, and that will be. Let's just say I'll be wearing out the antibacterial aspect of it.
I love the name Glamoury. These are
Yeah.
Glamoury for men.
Glamoury for men. Glamoury is a company, so it says here, men support tight, semi-transparent, shiny, slight compression for vitalized legs, very comfortable to wear, perfect fit, flat seams, reinforced panty and toe. And if you can look very, like you can see, it's his back. It's from the the back. So I think this one might be the winner for design because it's actually not afraid to state its
I like
purpose.
the name. They're trying to make it look like Gladiator.
Gladiator.
This is Glamoury, but he stood there looking all stoic, and it's the G is prominent. The GLA.
They did pick up sort of the masculine font, that sort of I don't know what they call it. But speaking of masculine, here we go. We got dynamic tip for men. Find stockings and pantyhose. Reinforced
What's it
brief
called?
no fly.
Tip.
Tip, just the tip.
I mean, how do these companies all support themselves? I know there's lots of us out there, but
I mean, they did. I mean, well, like Robert said, I mean, these are companies that these are just like startups that use already established factories, but very masculine looking, right? Very very masculine packaging. Looks like it was made in Russia. Wow.
that's surprising.
Produced by Tim Bulgaria. Yeah, Russia. Well,
It says Tim, not Tip.
Oh, it does say Tim. Oh,
Tim.
well,
That makes it's Tim for men.
yeah. Well, I don't know. They didn't. TIP. What's different about them is they are 20 denier, but they basically have the same kind of pouch area and reinforced toe, but not anything terribly different. They do come in man sizes, which is interesting. Apparently, they come in. If you're 4'11" and 150 pounds and you're a man, you can wear the smallest size, which is like, I don't know if that's a very small man. That might be more like, I think I was 4'11" in like 4th grade.
That's a woman's pair of legs, right?
Should I let you wonder, or should I?
No, I think that's just worth. I think those that can't see it, those that can, have a think, work it out. But those that can't, we have our first packaging that's pretty sexily seamless. Are they nude? Would you describe that as nude tights?
They are indeed nude. They're
nude,
technically
and
the toast is the name of the
Toast.
toast is
Lightly
the color.
burnt toast, and they look really nice. And the person wearing them, I think, could be female.
It's a
or
woman.
male.
It's not.
Oh, right.
It's not a man. Definitely not a man. I think with the way that she's bending her toe there, She's either a ballet dancer, which would make sense because these are dance wear tights. So she's either a ballet dancer or a freak of nature because her toes are like, if you look at that, like her toes are like blank. Like they're literally like at a 90-degree angle. Do you see that? Do you see how her one foot is like?
Oh yeah, she's dancing.
Yeah, she's either a dancer or that's not real.
A dancer or a squire in a medieval sort of court.
They soft microfiber waistband, resistant to wear and tear, and what is the denier of these?
I just love that I now know because of last week's episode, not to just think of denier, but what microfiber even means. So
right.
If you're listening to this wondering what we're talking about, check out, if you can. We learn all about the sort of textiles and manufacturing and engineering of tights.
You are microfiber educated.
There's a really funny bit in that episode where he talks about it and he goes back into it when Robert goes back into the microfibers and you go, yeah, microfibers.
It sounds like me.
And then he carries on. It's just this little interjection like microfibers. These like lots of little Pantyhose kings running around with tights on.
So these are the 60 denier tights. These are going to be great for going to the gym because that's what they look like.
Yeah,
like they're full on
fake. We've got some fake Adidas right in front of us.
Fake Adidas. These, but yeah, if you can see, these are proper thick ones.
They're like thick black tights with 2 Adidas stripes down the leg, but only the 2.
Adidas. These are Talbots. They are Canadian. They're silky sheer knee highs. And you will.
It's interesting
I've seen
that
Talbots
Steve
before.
sent you knee highs and stockings as well as hose. He's clearly Stephen wear. Stephen
He
wear?
does. He does very much so. He is a wearer and a big fan of the show and a big fan of thigh highs and knee highs. Well, a silky sheer. I'm assuming that they're not terribly thick, but it doesn't say on it what their denier is. But we can have a look. See. Gonna go ahead and yeah, they're not terribly thick. Not terribly thick. See? They're like moderately thick.
Wow.
They look like they're going to feel good. So right here we got basic no nonsense. We all know about those. These are actually pretty great. I actually am surprised at how good they feel and wear and work. Like, very surprised. Leg support Calanto. Herrens der Strampfen Hose. I'm guessing it's German.
This one on the left here is my favourite picture so far.
Carrera.
Those of you that are into the feminine look, this is what I'd recommend tuning in for. And if you can't watch it now, what's it called, King?
Carrera. Sounds like it's Italian.
Yeah, sorry,
and
turn
it
it back
opens
over.
up like a,
Take it,
wow.
just pop that back on. I'm going to get a screenshot there. That's it. And we can put that on our Instagram for those that aren't paying. They can get a little still image of what that is. That's a beautiful picture for those that love femininity, I'd say.
These I'm not sure what these came from. Oh wait, never mind. This is where they came from. This is the piece de resistance. The Lex Extreme Wear for Men. These are apparently. This is the one that I forgot. These are apparently very, very hardcore, and and here's why you'll see. These are not made anymore. They were $11 back in. Looks like in 2007. But look at the waistband. They actually are like underwear waistbands. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's for comfort. Brilliant. But I wouldn't wear these.
I would. You wouldn't wear just for comfort? Or, well, then again,
I'd wear them for comfort. I'd wear them for comfort.
But okay, because that's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking about the fetish. It suddenly pulls me out of what I recognise as that sort of girliness.
I mean, I understand it. It's like when you have an elastic waistband like this, you're a guy a lot of the men's pantyhose, you have to sort of, kind of slink them up and it's harder. And if you have a little bit of a gut or whatever, this you can really just go crazy with it, not have to worry about, ripping them. Like when you pull up the waistband, you know what I mean? I think they actually feel fantastic. Like the actual hose material itself, you see that?
Yeah.
Like it's got a great shine to it.
Yeah,
really nice.
I'm like the rest of the viewers. I'm seen them from via the internet and can only wish that I was in your shoes. No, in the shoes of that woman on the branding, but in your place, getting to hold them.
We should get to Hunter because we're going to discuss masculine versus feminine, and what a way to end with the masculine band and the feminine legs. And you know what we could do? We could hold a contest where we're going to send a pair to McShear, and if they can guess the pair that he wears, they get to get like photo shoot of you in them, like the full photo shoot, like all different shots. So I'll pick out which one it's going to be. It won't be the Carreras. That'll be too obvious. Or will it?
You said something quite interesting before, if you don't mind me saying, about getting older maybe and losing the passion. Did I hear that right? Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. I didn't think it was necessarily possible, but there have been, I don't know, have you guys had this in your life too, where there's kind of been phases in your life where, or is it just always 100% fetish all the time in the front of your head? So I don't know.
Been pretty constant.
Yeah.
For the past like 5 years for me, but
right.
I kind of get like, for the longest I go is like about a month. If I don't wear for a month, then it starts to bubble, and then it's like I gotta wear it, and then it's over in like 20 seconds. Right. And that's the most like tame I can be.
Well, for me, like I shave my legs regularly all the time, and it's with the intention to wear hose in a way. Yeah. But then I probably won't follow through with it on wearing hose. But then I enjoy just having shaved legs anyway, because I've kind of grown to like it. And as a real avid cyclist, bicyclist, having shaved legs, kind of like, I was joking with people like, oh, I see you've started shaving your legs. Like, no, I ride bicycles because I shave my legs.
Yeah, right. Right. It's a rite of passage that you guys have to go through.
Yeah. Right. And it's sort of like, put me in tight lycra. Oh, that sounds terrible. The funny thing is, or the weird thing is like I cycle so much that when I put on, and even the first time I put on, like, I'm looking, like, this is off camera, everybody, but I'm looking over at all my bike clothes. But the first time I put on biking and cycling gear, there wasn't sort of a fetish reaction at all.
None? Wow.
No, not really. No, and I think it's because, like, for me, it has to be sort of cross-dress related. Like, it didn't mean it. Like, I would probably get a lot more out of the same materials if it was like a ballerina leotard or something like that, or a women's leotard or something like that, or a one-piece bathing suit, right? That's, that would be more fun for me than cycling gear. Even though, like, I have some arm and leg warmers on the bike, which are practically, you can practically see through them. Like, they're probably like 80 denier or a little bit more higher. Castelli is a cycling brand, and they make some seamless ones that are really comfortable and lightweight, but they're essentially like leggings. But like I've told you guys this before, I'm not really interested in it unless it's 15 and less.
Yeah.
That being said, it's like, I've got shaved legs and I'm in lycra gear. And I
thinks there's something happening here.
I wear like cycling clothing every day, actually. It's like, it's a ritual. I wake up in the morning and go on a bike ride, and I'm constantly washing stuff. I've got 2 things to wear every day.
Do you transform when you dress? Do you transform your personality? Does it, like, I don't mean like intentionally. I mean, does it affect your? Do you feel a freedom to behave differently, or do you not fall into that sort of category? I don't mean you become some like garish drag queen, or maybe you do. But do you know what I mean? Like,
no, but I think like the behavior of, like, let's say if you're wearing hose and you really like them, you're probably like crossing your legs more, touching yourself more.
Yeah, but so if you're out in a bar when you went out in drag, I
mean. Yeah, I'm probably not walking around like a football player. I mean, which is hard to do and looks stupid anyway in heels. So if you're in heels and you're walking around, you gotta do it right.
Are you louder, like in your voice? Are you camper? Are you?
Yes, when he dresses in drag, he likes to speak like this.
It's been so long since I've done it, which is so sad. Like, it's literally probably been 20 years. So, and the thing is am I louder or do I act differently? Not a whole lot, not necessarily. If you talk in a heady voice because you're trying to sound feminine, whatever that means, I'm trying, feminine, the one thing that people do is like they can keep talking like this, but then all of a sudden like they cough at the same lower register, and it's like so happens all the time. I think that's really funny. It's like don't forget about your cough, or like now you have to be like, that
Surely
doesn't quite
laughing
work.
as well, if something genuinely makes you laugh.
Yeah,
When I go out, I'm going to practice my cough as well as my laugh now, as well as my walk.
yeah, there you go.
But like I've noticed that the straight accent, like guys tend to speak from their chest, right? Like if they're straight, they use their chest voice, and
And they don't end in a question.
no, they never, no,
Can
no.
you do a
And
combination?
if you sound a little bit dumb, it helps because like
There you
then
go.
that way if you do the question, it's not like the worst thing ever. And if you look away, it's a lot of stuff that's what you do. But you never use your head voice. No. And no jazz hands. No, none of that. You can't speak with your hands, can't use your hands to speak. Like if you're using your hands, oh, you're fucked. Because no straight guy.
I
Huh,
have
what?
I have a very good straight friend who likes to talk about these kinds of issues, and he's sort of saying the one thing that like um, LGBT people they've decided that they're not in the, what's the right word, they're not agreeing to the way things are supposed to go. So you're out of the norm. So how come you haven't, like, straight in a way really means like status quo.
Yeah. I
Status
suppose
quo.
so.
So if
Yeah.
you're not even talking like the status quo, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get in line.
That's very
Are
big
you
brother of
asking
them.
everything in a question? Hey man, hey bro, what's up, man? No.
What's
not
up,
much
bro?
stuff. That's the one thing I love about the UK is there isn't as much of a stigma with even just the way you speak. And I think the UK is more of a speaking culture than the United States, if you don't
Oh
mind.
yeah. Oh yeah. Because you all sound gay.
There's gender enforcement with the way you talk and the body language, whereas in the UK, people are more impressed with actually what you say, not how you say it. Like people want
Right.
like people are
Right.
impressed with how smart and intelligent you are usually, whereas in the United States it's like, hey, you're not following the status quo, get back in line. Like what got me onto this tangent about like how gender speaks and is different than two is like one thing that I'm a proponent of what I would like to be, even though I don't really I strive to be a guy who wants to be effeminate, and it should be okay that I want to be effeminate. Even though sometimes I'm completely not sounding effeminate or acting effeminate, but the times I am or want to be, whatever effeminate means, because that's the other thing too, is like I want to like simply I want to be a woman. I don't really know what a woman is. I know women, but I can emulate them. But how does it feel to be a woman, right? I don't know. But my point was with society, there should be total acceptance for effeminate men, and they don't actually have to be gay either. That that's one thing that I hate gender roles that are enforced by sex, and sex meaning like what you were born with or your cisgender. And so do you find yourself acting differently when you wear something else? And I'm kind of like, maybe, but it's like I want to act like that all the time or have it be acceptable. This isn't anything about acceptance. You're just asking if you change your behavior when you wear something. Yeah, probably. But I think that's why I got on that tangent before. It's just like I hate the straitjacket of men can only act certain ways.
It's not like I'm pretending to be the guy that wears jeans and goes to work or goes out and about. I feel like I'm being myself. But as you've just pointed out and highlighted, when I imagine myself cross-dressing in public or when I do cross-dress for sex or in private, maybe I'm not behaving quote unquote feminine. Maybe I'm just being even more myself.
Right. And when you're wearing like hose, or like some people who might just like wear high heels, when you cross dress, does it have to be all or nothing, right? Or can it just be a little bit? And for me, what I mean by an effeminate male is I want it to be a little bit. And why can't it be a little bit?
Like there are times where you go, I just wish I could put nail varnish on today. Not even for
Exactly.
sex, just for fun.
Exactly. Right. And I noticed the younger generation doing that in spades.
They
Like,
don't
I
give a
see-
shit. They don't give a shit.
I see guys with like pink and blue nails and having girlfriends, and I'm like, thank God we're over ourselves.
But do you not feel
You know,
sad
it's
that
like-
you missed out personally? I wish I was 15 right now and in a group and
Well,
in a school.
that's
Where...
that's where I'm saying like I have this inner desire to be an effeminate man, meaning like I've already put in the time and I've dressed out in drag a lot, right? But I still feel like I'm still feeling repressed because I'm not supposed to be effeminate or something like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's the thing about everybody is that like everybody has these moments where we do sort of code switch into whatever the fuck it is that we're feeling at the moment, whatever you want to call it. Like names are not important, but if you're acting masculine or feminine, it doesn't really matter. That's just who you are. And if you are going to say, well, what does it mean to be a man or what does it mean to be a woman? It means whatever it is that you're doing right then and there. Like that should be the simplest answer, I think, because that is what it is. You can't argue that if a man does something, if a man acts feminine, that's how a man acts. He's a man. And the same goes with any person who wants to identify in a certain way. So I feel like maybe when people sort of like feel the urge to be uber femme when they dress up, maybe that has more to do with the fact that because society has forced them to keep that side locked in, that when it does come out, it's almost like screaming, raging to come out. And then when if you could give it a chance to just to be its own thing, it probably wouldn't be amplified. The same way that I've noticed, like when guys come out of the closet, like they're much more gay at the very beginning. Like there's sort of the kind of rite of passage that happens when you're a gay guy coming out, where you ramp it up a little bit, kind of letting everybody know in the room without letting everybody know. That calms down over time, at least with some of us. Sometimes we're not.
I think it's super intense politically, but the politically pipe turns down. In other words, you want to tell everybody that you're gay. And then when you're out longer, you're just like, I don't care.
Right.
I'm
You're like, I don't give a shit.
Right. A little bit of difference here between like gender identity and those kinds of things versus like what's the fetish driving it too. And sometimes I feel like I will make hosiery choices just to make sure that I feel like, and this may be my own suppression, that I'm not pushing my fetish onto people when I'm out in public. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to show my schlong around, even though, that'd be exciting. Or I don't want to wear super, super, super short shorts because I think that's a little kind of, I just want to go about my own daily business, and I want other people to be happy seeing me or whatever. Am I a people pleaser? Maybe to an extent, and not that all people have to be, but the point is like there's a certain amount of decorum and
yes,
properness that you need without feeling repressed either.
I think that yes, exactly. I think if you can get arrested for what you're wearing, then it's inappropriate.
Hunter, thanks for coming on, and thanks for supporting the show. It's really lovely to speak to you again. We'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Hope you guys have a good weekend.
We will. We will, and thank you again.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye. That was a productive conversation. I feel like I was a little bit of like the odd man out because of my masculinity, my masculine POV. There were some things that you guys were talking about that were legit. I see your point of view on things now. I'm becoming more femme aware, if that makes any sense.
Not the reason we do this podcast, but it's the crux of how and when we sort of decided to do it was even within our community, how diverse our needs and desires were, right?
Mm-hmm. We're like Abbott and Costello, or Joni and Chachi, or Yin and Yang, or Fire and Water. I literally could just name off opposites all the live long day, but I actually can't. I've thrown out.
Well, listen, thanks so much.
Chocolate and peanut butter.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time, Matt Shear.
Bye-bye.
Bye.